Good morning, everybody. How you all doing? I'm doing pretty good. My bruises are healing up pretty good, and I'm trying to get in here and cook some to take this soreness out of my shoulders and my neck and everything. So the other day I made some pumpkin spice cheesecakes, and they turned out really good, really good. I experimented with it, and I think I got a pretty good recipe going. And I found out a few things I didn't like about it, so I'm changing just a little bit. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the crust. And you're going to need, now you can use, this is up to you. I put gingerbread cookies, ginger snap cookies. I bought the Great Value brand from Walmart. And I put the whole container in there, and it made about 3 cups of, maybe 3.5 cups of crumbs. So I have 1 cup of crumbs left. The only thing I didn't like about it the other day, it was like the cookies, I don't know, maybe they were finer and they absorbed too much of the butter. But this time I'm going to use 1 cup of the ginger snap cookies, and I'm going to use 1 cup of graham cracker crumbs with it. I'm going to switch it up. Now, if you want to use just the ginger snaps, try it and see. Maybe I used a little too much butter. I don't know. But I actually had 2.5 cups of the cookies in there, so I couldn't really tell. But now, right now, I'm going to use a cup of graham cracker crumbs too. And and this is just Kroger brand. It really doesn't matter what brand you use. And as I use things, you all know me, I set them back out of the way so I don't use them again. Now, I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to stir it around here. The ginger snap cookies really gave it a good flavor. Everybody that tried it just loved it. So now we're going to put 2 tablespoons of brown sugar in this. Usually you use white sugar, but we're just going to use about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, looking at it there. And now the brown sugar could have caused the stickiness because it's got a little molasses in it. There's several things that could have changed the texture of that just a little bit. And you need to melt anywhere from 7 to 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Sometimes I've had to use a whole stick of butter melted, and sometimes I've only had to use about 7 tablespoons of the butter. I didn't really need all of it. So I'm going to put this in a little by little, and I'm going to stir it up and see how it looks. And I have a 9-inch cheesecake pan with my aluminum foil on the bottom. You need to do that. That prevents leakage. If there's any oil seeps out, it doesn't get down in your oven. This turned out really good. I tried to not get it too spicy. I didn't want to over-spice it. And I actually think I'm not going to need that last little bit of butter there. So I'm not going to put it in it. Now, I probably got a good tablespoon of butter left there. So I'm not going to put it in it because last time it seemed like it was almost too buttery. Now and once we get this stirred up good, you get it mixed up good, make sure you got all the crumbs at least touched by the butter. Then you want to pour this into your 9-inch cheesecake pan. You could use this to make a 10-inch too if you wanted to. If you wanted your cheesecake just a little thinner. Now, let me take my spoon and just kind of spread this around a little bit. I like to do that because I can kind of tell if it's a little more even that way. Some people like to run their cheesecake crumbs up the side. Every time I do that, it flakes off and breaks, and I just don't like to do that. So I just don't do it. I make mine just to be, a flat crust. Then I take my hand, just the back of your hand, and I press down all the way around the edges of this. Make sure you get it pressed down good. that kind of packs your crust together. And then I take my hand and go over the middle part here. I usually go back around it again once or twice. Just make sure it's packed down good, and it is. Now, we're going to put this in a 350-degree oven for about 7 to 9 minutes. We're going to let it just kind of bake and meld together. Then we're going to take it out and we're going to set it on the counter and let it be cooling while we make the batter, okay? Because you don't want this hot when you pour the batter in it. So I'm going to put this in the oven and I'll be right back in about 7 or 8 minutes and we'll get started on the batter. Okay, while the crust is baking, I'm going to get the cream cheese out and be opening it up and put it in the bowl. Now, I fill this up with hot water and let it sit there for about 20 minutes to soften my cream cheese. That works the best of anything I've ever tried. I know a lot of people use microwaves, but I don't like to do that. It's almost like it scalds the cream cheese. So that's how I do it. And then I use my bowl to, well, here's my dish towel over here. I use my bowl to mix up my batter in. I haven't been using my stand mixer because the bowl is weighted and heavy. And right now this is just a lot lighter for me, so that's what I do. Now once you get the cream cheese out, you're going to take the scissors, you're just going to snip off the end, and then squeeze it right into your bowl. This works perfect. Just I've never had it not work yet. So I was just watching this morning of all the people that are affected by this hurricane, and I'm just, you know, you feel totally helpless because I don't even live close to any of the people that are affected by it. I know there's been trees and things down. Let me get a paper towel, you all. I just stuck my finger in my cream cheese. And yes, my hands are clean. I've washed my hands a gazillion times this morning. But, you know, I just pray for them. And I was trying to donate some money a while ago, but the app was not letting me do it, so I'm going to try again a little bit later. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know if it's just acting silly or what it is, but anyway. Now that's 4 8-ounce packages of softened cream cheese. Now if you're interested in the recipe, I will post the recipe. And it'll have a picture of the cheesecake and the recipe above it, but you're going to have to go to my page. It's not just going to be floating out here in space. You got to go to my page, my cooking page, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put 1 cup of white sugar, okay? Here's 1 cup, and I usually do it this way. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of flour. And I use cooking tablespoons for that. I do it right like this. I put it in my sugar. It's 2 heaping tablespoons. Right like that. And then I mix it in my sugar a little bit. And that keeps it from clumping together in the cheesecake stuff. The batter keeps you from clumping. Now I'm going to pour that sugar in there. Set that right there. Put my lid back on the flour. And this is just plain all-purpose flour. I keep a little bowl like this sitting around just for things like this. Then we have 2/3 cup of brown sugar. And we have about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to add 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. If you don't like that much cinnamon, then don't use it. Whoops, that's not cinnamon, that's pumpkin spice. I grabbed the wrong one. Let me get one of my little teaspoons here. I do it like this. I know that a teaspoon like this is about like a tablespoon if you measure it. There's 1, 2, 3. Not hardly, a little bit. Now, I'm going to use, this is pumpkin pie spice. And I don't put a lot of this in there because it has nutmegs and other things in it, and it's stout. So I'm going to put about what we would consider about a teaspoon. If you're measuring it. And I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of allspice. And just probably a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. Now, let me see. It's time to get the crust out. So I'm going to get it out and set it right there and let it be cooling. Now, let me get my mixer. And my mixer blades. Then we're going to blend this puppy up a little bit. This is all we're going to add in it right now. Then we're going to add our eggs and pumpkin in just a minute. But you want to put the cream cheese. Oh, I forgot something. My sour cream. Let me get my sour cream out. I don't want to forget that. You need 2/3 cup of sour cream. And I usually just eyeball it. About 2 big tablespoons like this. Maybe just a little more. Smells good. Already smells good. Already smells good. Okay, I've used all that. Let's see. Sugar, brown sugar, sour cream, vanilla flavoring. You need a tablespoon of vanilla. Or you can use maple flavoring if you like to. Okay, now we're going to mix this up. As much as possible. Now we're going to put eggs in. And I am going to use 4 eggs and 1 egg yolk. Okay? And I usually put 2 eggs at a time in. And I mix them. I know a lot of recipes say use 1 egg and mix. 1 egg and mix. Well, I put 2 at a time in there usually and mix them. Got a little bit of cream cheese up here on the side of my bowl and I can't get it down. And we're just going to mix enough to get that egg mixed in there. Okay, now we're going to put 2 more eggs in. I don't like to crack them over the bowl. I see people do that, but I don't like to crack them over the bowl because sometimes just little tiny shards of eggshell will flake off, and you have to be careful about that. going to use the egg yolk. Now, we're going to put in a whole can of pumpkin puree, not pie filling, puree. It does not have any sugar, it has nothing in it, it's just pureed pumpkin, okay? So we're going to put that in here. Now this should give you guys some ideas when the pumpkin contest comes up. We're doing the apple contest right now. We'll be doing the pumpkin contest next, and I've seen 6 or 7 posts on the apple right now. So there was about 25 of you all said you were interested. I should see 25 entries, guys. Now the last time I put just a little dab of half and half in this. Not a lot, but just our heavy whipping cream. And I'm about a 1/4 cup, not much. I always like to smell. Maybe not even that much. Okay, now. Okay, now that's got it. Let me check. I always like to go back and check just to make sure that's it. And I have got stuff all over my hands. I usually make a mess. I usually make a mess doing things in the kitchen. But if you go in a cook's kitchen and it's all neat and pretty and everything, they don't cook. If you want to see a cook that cooks, look and see if she's got a messy kitchen. She'll clean it up, but she'll have a messy kitchen. She'll have stuff sitting everywhere where she's cooking. Okay, I'm trying to just take my spatula and go around all of the bowl to make sure everything is in there. Now, I'm going to pour this in the crust. Okay, it's cooled down quite a bit. It doesn't have to be cold. It just warm won't hurt anything. You just don't want a hot crust. Okay, now, I don't know. The other day I made 2 small cheesecakes out of this. So when this gets up so far, I'm going to cut it off. I'm not going to put it plumb at the top. I don't want it to go over the edge and come out. Okay, now. Let me taste of that. That's good. Okay, now I'm going to put this in the oven on 350 for about 20 minutes. Then I'm going to turn it down to about 325 and bake it for another total about 60 to 65 minutes. Anywhere from 55 to 65 minutes. You want the center to be kind of set, but yeah, still jiggly. You don't want it wet in the middle, but you want it to be kind of be able to touch it, but you want it kind of jiggly. And then whenever you get done, when it's been in there for about 55 to 65 minutes, turn the oven off and let it sit in the oven. Open the door a little bit, crack your oven door, and let it sit in the oven for about another 25-35 minutes. And let it cool in there a little bit before you take it out. Sometimes you can take cheesecakes out and they won't crack. Now, if it cracks, it's not the end of the world, guys. It's not the end of the world, okay? A cracked cheesecake eats just like any other cheesecake. You just fill it in with little things. You can make a little cream cheese filling and fill it in, or you can use caramel, all kinds of things on top of it to kind of fill your crack in. Put whipped cream on top of it, hide the crack. There's all kinds of things you can do. But once this gets done, you got to sit it out on the counter. I've got little racks that I sit mine on. And you want to let it sit there for at least an hour. Then you want to take a knife and go around the edge of that cake, as close to that pan. You want to stay right to the edge of the pan and loosen that. Because if you don't, your cheesecake is going to stick to that pan if you leave it in there too long, and you're never going to get it out. You got to loosen it while it's still pretty warm. And then just let it sit there until it's completely cool for about 4 to 5 hours. Then put it in the refrigerator. Keep it in the refrigerator overnight until the next day, at least 24 hours. Cheesecakes have to cure. That's what I call it, cure. And they are much better if you let them. If they're in there 48 hours, they really do a good job. It really takes the flavor of whatever you're making and makes a much better cheesecake. Now, this is a New York style cheesecake. It's just a pumpkin New York style cheesecake. Okay, pumpkin spice. And it will be delicious. If you like pumpkin and you like pumpkin spice, you're going to love this. I actually am not the biggest pumpkin spice fan, but I actually had just a little sliver of it the other day because I can't eat much. But it was absolutely delicious, you all. It was good. And everybody bragged about the ginger snap crust. And I just wanted to try it just a little bit different this time. So I just kind of experiment on y'all as I go. So I'm going to put this in the oven. And now if it starts getting too brown on top, tear you off a piece of aluminum foil and just lay it over the top of it. That'll keep it from browning so quick. Now I'm using a gold pan today, which I never use. I usually use the shiny pans. That way they don't cook so brown. But now I'm trying this and seeing how it works today. But anyway, I'm going to put this in the oven and I'll be back in a little bit. Oh yes, one of the most important things is taking your cheesecake and tapping it on the counter to get the air bubbles out. If you don't get the air bubbles out, you're more likely to have cracks, okay? So make sure you do that. I usually do it for about a minute. I turn it around, turn it, and just keep pecking it. If I see any air bubbles on top, I take my finger or a little toothpick and, pop them. So, hey guys, I just took the cheesecakes out of the oven, and they look really good. Let me turn it around here, let you look at them. There is the pumpkin, the bigger one, and this is the smaller one. I had enough to make a small one, and only thing I got to do now, and even with my aluminum foil on today, I must have had a crack in it because it leaked out, and I had to change my foil in the bottom of my oven. But they're looking good and they're cooling, so I'll let them cool for about 4 or 5 hours, and then I'll put them in the refrigerator. And I usually put just a piece of aluminum foil over the top, and to keep it from drying out. That'll keep it moist. And when you get it out, it might have a little moisture on it. I just take a paper towel, lay it on top of it, and blot it off, and then it works fine. Then I set it back in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes with nothing on it, and it'll kind of dry the top off. But anyway, I'm going to put a pumpkin caramel glaze on top of this one and whipped cream. So I hope you all try a cheesecake. And I guess you all probably saw a little while ago, I did a video talking about Iran just launched missiles toward Israel. And this is not going to end well, folks. I'm just telling you, this is escalating. If you don't know Jesus, you better get to knowing Jesus. I'm telling you. Guys, you can call it whatever you want to. It says Iran getting ready to fire 250 missiles at targets in Israel. It just popped up on my phone. Guys, start praying right now. Pray for Israel. Pray for God to watch over them. Pray for him to protect the Iranian people that don't have anything to do with this, guys. They have nothing to do with this. 9/10 of them don't. And a lot of them are Christians, and we need to pray for those people. I'm telling you, Jesus is getting ready to return. I hope you're ready, guys. I really do. I pray you're ready to meet Jesus. And don't bet your salvation on this evil world and what they tell you. Don't do it, guys. I'm telling you. But I love you all, and I hope you enjoy the cheesecake. And just have a blessed day. Do something good for somebody. Pray for Israel. Pray for everybody. Pray for all these victims of this flooding and disasters. Donald Trump is down there right now. This is what a real president does. Donald Trump is down there, water halfway up his thighs, wading that water. He's down there helping and establishing GoFundMe things to help the people down there. Our president in Washington right now, the one that claims to be the president, said there was no more money to help them. They've given it all to Ukraine and illegals and everything like that. And the people that live here get nothing. How many times do you see it flood in the mountains of North Carolina? It's because there's a quartz mine there and a lithium mine. Some of the richest in the world. Wonder why this happened. Messing with our atmosphere and doing things to try to change weather. Folks, you just have no idea what evil we live in. You don't. But I'm telling you, these people need prayers. They also need funds to help. I tried to donate a little while ago, but it wouldn't let. It was messed up at the time. But Donald Trump has given $25 million of his own money. We see who the presidential person is, the person that cares about the people. He's down there wading water 3 foot deep. Down there seeing what he can do to help them. That's a president. That's what God would have you to do. So, I'm going to get off here, guys. And when I get the cheesecake topped, I'll put, you can buy store-bought caramel if you want to and put on it. Just drizzle it over it or you can eat it plain and just make you some whipped cream or buy you some Ready Whip and, squirt it on there. Whatever you want to do, it's your cheesecake if you make it. You do it however you want to. But I'm just showing you how to make the pumpkin spice cheesecake, and it tastes really good. So I'm going to get off here, and I'll talk to you guys later before I get to rambling too much. Bye-bye.